All right, come on in the room, good people. Welcome to Monday Night Live. All right, Winona, our scholarship winner. I'm never going to forget her name. All right. Good evening, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
How are you? I feel like our graduates done graduated and moved on, but I'm
Right.
in good company. I feel like I do know the names that are showing up, which is a good thing.
Hey, folks. Hey, folks.
Hi. All right. While we're letting people in the room, I want to start out with I don't have a fancy icebreaker where things float across the screen and all of that. But I do want to know, what is one D-free thing you've done this week? So it could be a continuation of something that you've been doing, but what is one D-free thing you've done from last Monday to this Monday? Just drop it in the chat if you are able to type. Um,
7 minutes a day. Hi, Joyce.
seven
That's great.
minutes,
That's
7 minutes.
good.
Or I feel like I've spent about 70 minutes. I was trying. Miss Deb will understand. We didn't get paid on Friday till late. I was like, okay, abort mission. What do we got to do now? We got to move some money and make some things happen. But it worked out by the end of the day. 7 minutes. Okay.
Did you do a D-free thing? A D-free thing this past week?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I spent 70 minutes trying to move money on Friday when we didn't get when the payroll got messed up. I was like, hold on, let me get to the banks before the banks get to closing. I'm gonna move some stuff around because I'm thankfully like I'm on auto pay on a lot of things,
Mm-hmm.
but it's scheduled like based on my base schedules. And
Right.
so what I needed to do was, you know how Kevin Hart be laughing like I got to move from my saving to my checking, and I need a couple days for it to
Right.
clear. So I
Right.
had to do one of those moves just in case. Um, but it ended up working out. Shout out to the finance team for getting everything situated. It was not our fault. Our supplier, actually, our vendor, had an issue on their end, but it was a good reminder, a good exercise that not to let things be so scheduled that any derailment in the schedule messes you up.
Makes a snowball. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like one of those people that is super scheduled and for the most part super organized, and I was almost too organized for my own self because I was like, wait, I got to go untie the knot for a second and just make sure everything is in the right place. Okay, Nikki says she attended the student loan webinar and still contributed to her savings. Yep, paid all bills due, doing my D-free
Doing
devotional.
D-free devotionals. That's excellent.
Reduce your copay on medicine, excellent. Refrain from impulse buying, excellent. Check my budget and reached out to a financial advisor, excellent. So you guys are doing D-free, and that's the goal. Like the goal is to maintain a D-free lifestyle. And so right now we're checking on whether or not you're doing D-free, for lack of a better word, but the more you do D-free, the more you become D-free, and it becomes a part of the way you live. And so we never want you to stop thinking about D-free, but it should become a part of your just kind of the way you handle your life.
Yeah.
uh
Good
Tyra
thing.
Brockman, you deleted ads, excellent. You might need you to teach a course on clearing your cookies because that is very, very important. Went to the student loan webinar. I've seen y'all show up on Mondays and Wednesdays and everything. All right, well, we got a pretty decent quorum. Thank you guys for participating in my little icebreaker. um I just like to know that people are practicing what they preach, and then y'all heard about my whole debacle. Let's go through housekeeping real quick, even though I know we're amongst family. Just so that you know, we are here live for Monday Night Live. I'm Tamika Stembridge, Executive Director of the D-Free Global Foundation, and I'm joined by my co-host, Janiyah Lake, and Dr. Soaries. I saw him sneak into the room, but I can't see. Are you on video? There you are.
I'm here. I'm here. How you doing?
Excellent, excellent, excellent. We were just doing a little icebreaker. What D-free thing did folks do in the last week? So we got some pretty good feedback.
Yeah, good.
Excellent. So housekeeping, you guys are all on mute just to minimize distractions, but if you would like to speak, you can always raise your hand and we will unmute you. The session is being recorded, and so if you're not here with us live, welcome anyway. We always encourage you, even if you are here live, if you just need additional encouragement, I think this conversation provides some decent background music if you're working during the day and just want to stay encouraged. Feel free to always go back and listen to the recordings. The chat feature is open and functioning, so please feel free to drop your comments and questions throughout the evening, and we will try to address as many of them as possible as we go through. Just a friendly reminder, most of you joined our Monday Night Live session originally as participants in the D-Free Online Academy. However, if you're new to the Monday Night Live experience, this is an extension of our D-Free Online Academy, which is the destination where you pretty much have financial freedom at your fingertips. You can register on our website, mydfree.org, and you can get started right away on your journey to financial freedom. We have multiple courses that include the D-Free Lifestyle 12-step course. You can take it as the regular 12-step course. You can take it by level. We have a syllabus available so that you can do the course in 30 days. And it really is a great jumpstart on your journey to financial freedom. You learn the lifestyle, you learn the mental, psychological, spiritual aspects of what it takes to live a financially free lifestyle, all the way through to budgeting and planning and savings, long-term planning, and then giving back. And so we encourage you, if you are new to Monday Night Live, to really consider taking things a step further and joining our D-Free Online Academy. Go ahead.
And Tamika, we have to remind people, we are not financial advisors. We are not financial professionals. We don't sell financial products. We are not licensed to do anything in finance. We're just debtors saved by grace.
Absolutely.
Giving people advice based on our own experience.
Absolutely. And referring you to resources and experts. That is the number one piece of advice. If we say nothing else, find a financial professional to help you manage your financial situation wherever you are. We do, however, like Dr. Sori said, we provide our own insights based on what we've experienced, based on what we've learned, and also based on what we offer. So we have the D-Free Academy, which is our content platform. We have Billion Dollar Challenge, which you see here, which is a great tool. People refer to it as like almost like a budget in your pocket or a debt reduction tool in your pocket. You can go there and create personalized, customized, confidential plans for how you plan to pay off your debt or how you plan to achieve a savings goal. We have over 11,000 participants in the Billion Dollar Challenge. We've paid down more than $30 billion in debt with our Billion Dollar Challenge community, and we've saved more than $1 million with our online community. And so we encourage you to consider joining. And if you are already a part of the Billion Dollar Challenge, to make sure that you update your progress. That is how we know we're moving closer to success every single day.
So Tamika, did we get responses from people when we asked them what additional information they want? Because I still have a few webinars to be scheduled, and I'm curious to know if we got that. Don't repeat it, just send it to me. But if we didn't get it, I'd like to know more about what people would like us to bring to them in terms of information.
Yes, we do actually have a list. It's in my notes somewhere, but I'll make sure I share it with you. Some of which you actually have already started to plan, so I didn't even want to run through it. We got a lot about cryptocurrency, a little bit about investments. I won't run through the whole list, but I'll make sure I share it with you.
But the student loan webinar, I want to thank you for your support. I want to thank the Monday Night Live crowd for your participation and support. It was one of our stronger webinars. I don't like to say better or worse because it depends on your circumstances, but it was one of our stronger webinars. And, you know, let me tell you how God works. When I scheduled that webinar, I didn't know about our partner. Mm-hmm. I didn't know there was an organization out there that would work with our people one-on-one for free. All I knew was that we need the information.
Right.
But we had over 150 people sign up to say, I'd like to talk to a counselor about my student loans. That was huge. That was huge. And we're going to do more in student loans because the need was so great. We had so many questions that we didn't have time to answer that I felt a little guilty by shutting it down, but 90 minutes is long enough. So we're gonna hang in there. We're gonna republish the webinar as soon as we get permission from Prudential, and then we'll offer people opportunities to meet with counselors at the same time. It's a great webinar, and the Monday night crowd, I believe, made that webinar successful.
Yeah, they definitely show up and show out. And funny enough, tonight's topic, even though we have not necessarily decided to be topical on Monday nights, but we wanted to continue the conversation here around student loans. So that's actually kind of our quote unquote topic of the day. Strangely enough, what you just said about getting the webinar approved, I had a couple people text me and said, oh my God, I was screen recording because I wanted to make sure I would have the content right away. And I know it takes time for Prudential to approve things.
Yeah,
so
it does take
our
time.
community is definitely savvy. They knew they needed the information. So hopefully you guys took notes, but if not, we'll definitely be re-airing it soon. I do want to make a special plug before we dive back into questions or comments around our topics or any other D-Free questions tonight, to say that this week's webinar features an amazing special guest, none other than First Lady Donna Soaries. This is our In the Black celebrating Mother's Day this Wednesday. And so we'll be talking about some great initiatives that she has going on, her new book, as well as what she's doing to leverage and extend the D-Free reach into her mom community, Mothers Determined to Pray. And so we're
So
very
make sure you ask her. See, when I met my wife, I'm sure she thought I was rich. I was driving a Cadillac. We were going out to dinner. I mean, I was as broke as you can be. And I'm sure she thought I was rich. Now, my wife, on the other hand, lived within her means. She drove a Toyota and was happy to drive a Toyota. I'm driving this big Cadillac. And I promise you, it took me 7 years to get my finances together so I could afford to get married. I was too broke to get married.
Wow.
So I proposed to her the day we met, but it took 7 years to get married because I was broke. So I asked her if she thought I was rich when we met.
I got to make sure I write that question down. Funny enough, I think we have a great podcast episode that features both of you. So I'll make sure, actually, I'm not going to make sure I drop the link. I want you guys, if you are not subscribed to the D-Free in the Black podcast, to go subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. You can access it on the website. I hate to keep doing commercials, but we have tons and tons and tons of content on so many topics. And what's interesting is that I would say prior to 2020, all of the good content that we were recording, we were doing just that. We would record it and put it somewhere. So like we recorded it, a YouTube, series, we put it on YouTube. You recorded a podcast, you put it on the podcast, and you hope that people listen to it, even if you promote it. But now, because we have kind of these live destinations where we can connect with people, it gives us the chance to kind of highlight some of the content that we've done before that people may not have seen. So we will make sure that we share that as well.
I was going to say, if anybody on is interested in certain topics, so we also can help you with that. Reach out to Train Engagement or info@MyDFree. Let us know what you're looking for. We don't want it to be that you don't know where to get started. We have lots of content podcasts, lots of content webinars. They can help facilitate you if you're leading others or you just want to share with friends or family. Just reach out and let us know the topics you're looking for too, and we'll help you get plugged into, all of those spaces that have those topics.
All right, so listen, this is a breakthrough moment for me. I am typing a message to Lori Bledsoe. Did you read her chat? Lori Bledsoe says that she loves the In the Black podcast. It's on her daily walk playlist. Can I just tell you this? I have never met a soul who has ever heard the In the Black podcast. In fact, I got so discouraged. If you notice, I have not been doing it lately because I don't think anybody listens to it. And Lori Bledsoe has absolutely encouraged my soul. And I'm typing that to her now. I'm saying, wow, first time I've ever met someone who even heard the In the Black podcast. My Lord. Thank you, Lori Bledsoe. It doesn't take much to keep us going. But one sentence of encouragement extends
Right,
Extends
we
my
back on it.
commitment.
Yeah, we say that a lot. You know, the testimonies really, really matter. You guys really keep us encouraged. It's, you know, for this to be nonprofit, service-oriented work, it is probably one of the most heavy responsibilities I've ever had in my career for that very reason. You literally hold something so needed in our community in your hands, and we're trying to be responsible stewards of the resources that we have to offer. But hearing your testimonies really does make it worthwhile. And so I encourage you to continue sharing with us because we really do appreciate it.
It's crazy. Now I need 10 minutes sometime tonight. So just save me some time because I have a special appeal to our Monday night crowd. We need some help and I need to bring it to them. All right. So just let me know when I can have 10 minutes.
Whenever you're ready. First and foremost, I'm sorry, I got allergies, y'all. The season is killing me.
Allergies are from the devil. I'm sure of that. They're from the devil.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh. I don't know where they're from, but Lord knows I wish they go back to where they came from because this is bad. But I did want to ask before we jump into tonight's topic, if anybody had a D-free testimony. I asked you whether or not you had, you know, if you've done anything D-free this week, and you guys talked a lot about that. But any comments, any testimonies, anything that you'd like to share that you've learned as a result of D-free, that's happened in your life as a result of D-free, or if you're new, what made you join us tonight?
Charles.
Who's MEW? Welcome.
Oh, hey, MEW. I see a lot of names in here. Charles Pierce, Carolyn Hunter, our Monday night folks.
All right, somebody paid off a bill to replace their HVAC system. Excellent. Any other testimonies in the room? Yay, somebody contacted GreenPath. Excellent. I feel so much peace now. Edna, yes.
Edna, thank you for telling us that. You know, I got on them this morning. I had a meeting at 9:30 this morning. And one of my concerns was that they weren't getting back to us about our people. And I want to make sure that we know how people are treating our people. And so, Edna, thank you.
Excellent, excellent, excellent.
Wonderful.
For those of you that don't know, GreenPath is a resource that we have a partnership with an outside institution that helps with debt repayment plans. So if you're in immediate need, not necessarily crisis mode, but it could be a crisis. But if you just have a debt situation that you want to get some outside advice on, they have great counselors available to meet with you and help you see what your options are. Open 2 new insurance policies for grandchildren. All right. Investment plan with MoneyLion. Excellent. Got a credit report and check my credit score for the first time in years. That's big.
Wow, that is big.
That's excellent.
I was afraid to check my score. I was just afraid. I knew my score was so bad that it took me about 5 years before I had the courage to check it.
Yeah, it's scary. And then once you start checking it, you become like, it's on you. Every morning you're looking at it like, what did it do? What did it do? What's happening? Right. Welcome, Nikki Gentry's aunt. Nikki is the official ambassador. Everybody say welcome to Nikki's aunt.
Hi, Nikki's aunt.
Welcome.
Hi.
Where are you, Nikki's aunt?
Let's see.
Where are you located?
I don't know. Nikki said she invited her aunt.
We are in Texas.
What part?
Orange. My aunt actually lives in Spring, but she's visiting me, and we are at my house in Orange, Texas.
That's
okay,
great.
So she's listening with you. Well, welcome, Auntie.
Hi, Auntie. Thank you. That's great.
Yeah, that is great. Glad to have both of you.
Mm-hmm.
I need both of you.
Right. Let's see. Somebody's meeting with Janae's meeting with Gardine this week. Excellent.
They're great.
Gardine is one of our Prudential financial professionals, great resource and partner. All right. So we got some good activity going.
That is
what I like about Gardine. Gardine has a kind of grassroots spirit, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of advisors are a little uppity, you know, if I can say it that way. They're a little, you know, they're a little bougie. But Gardine he's grassroots. He you know, he's real. He's one of us, and I love that.
Mhm.
Yeah, really helpful. He was very, very helpful when we were out on the road.
Right.
People really related well to him.
Remember South Carolina?
Mm-hmm.
He hooked us up.
Yep, definitely.
He's a
All
great
right. Well, if there are any other newbies, feel free to drop a line and let us know how you discovered Monday Night Live and what we can do to help you. For those of you that,
Tamika,
yes,
hi, I'm sorry, it's Janae. I did want to just share a quick testimony. I've
Yeah.
had this for a minute. It's not recent. This was probably back in February. I don't know, maybe around that Tuesday when we had the that Tuesday versus that Monday. But anyway, the conversation in the chat was in reference to I think you know, one of the people in the chat referenced that they were single and so forth. So it was about not having kids, and you know, so there's a kind of free spirit to have with your money when you don't feel like you have dependents, and there's also a little bit of a carelessness and or a little bit of, well, I'll get my priorities in order, you know, eventually.
Mhm.
And out of that conversation, it I think maybe pastor reference, well, you know, whether it's your aunt, I mean not your aunt, your nephew or niece, you know, or somebody down the line you could give to in terms of family or children or something to that effect. And it lay dormant in me that I had a little brother, and I was a big sister when I went to Howard, and he died a couple years ago, and it still ooh, it still affects me, but in my mind, I always envisioned giving him my house and my car. And when you think about death, sometimes you don't want to think about it and deal with it. But I didn't realize that there was a blockage there in terms of wills and preparing for, you know, that the estate stuff. And having had that, you know, looking in the chat and that conversation, it made me really, you know, check and reflect on myself, because I was like, wait up, that's me to some degree. But I had a purpose and a plan at one point, but it, you know, went a completely different way. But I hadn't, I guess I was stuck. And not that was necessarily a bad thing, but I hadn't moved on to further, you know, lifelong planning for certain things because of that void. And I just kind of want to say that it wasn't until then that I was like, oh my gosh, I really got to reconcile with that I now feel freer to move forward with the, you know, whole going, you know, the wills and the so forth. But it didn't even dawn on me that there was that blockage right there, because in my mind I had it, you know, how it was supposed to go. It's one thing in your mind, it's another thing to put it on paper, but still. And so, you know, I wouldn't have thought of it sooner had we not had that conversation, and not that it kind of went that way directly, but that was the effect it had on me. So that's been the biggest thing that I can appreciate about D-Free, because that was supposed to be legacy, so to speak. And it just, you know, it was just, like I said, it didn't go the way. And so I just kind of put it to the side. But, you know, things happen and you still got to make plans. And D-Free has been pushing me to write these plans out sooner than later, especially the daily meditation. So I just want to just, you know, express that and say thank you.
Thank you, Janae. That is, it's hard to articulate. You know, my father died in 1975. And I wake up some mornings and it's like it happened yesterday. You know, we never get over losing someone, but we can get through it. And a part of getting through it is engaging in the process, writing down your plans, making your future more concrete, so that the loss does not paralyze you. So thanks for saying that, because a lot of people have suffered loss because of COVID. A lot of people have suffered losses that were not death. A dear friend of mine sent me an email this morning. I've got to call him right after this. His jewelry store that he's had for over 25 years was burglarized early Monday morning. It was 2 a.m. Monday morning. And his whole life was wrapped up in that store. And he used the proceeds from that store to help kids, to give scholarships, internships. And that loss is redefining his life. And he wrote me a long email, and he really apologized because it was so long. I read every word. But life includes loss. But the fact that we still have life after the loss gives us the capacity to use and leverage the loss so that it can be a springboard into something better. So thanks for sharing that, because many of us have suffered loss. My wife's sister died from COVID, and a few days later, her sister's son died.
Mm.
And so we don't trust God and do better because of what happens, but we do in spite of what happens.
Yeah. Wow. That is one, thank you for sharing. Everyone in the chat is really just appreciative of that level of vulnerability. And I know from a D-Free perspective, we're constantly externally talking about the why of D-Free and the difference and what it means, and how what we do is so different than any other financial literacy course. And I don't want to, by all means, I don't want to minimize the testimony that you just shared, but that block that you just described is something that, while circumstances may be different for other people, there are blockages that exist for all of us. And a lot of times those blockages show up in our money. Like, you're mad about something, but instead of dealing with the thing that you're mad about, you're taking it out in other areas. You're overspending, or you're making up for some sense of pain or loss. And it may not necessarily even be spending. To your point, it was just not going through with the plan. And a lot of times, I was reading something earlier around like fear and faith and all of that. Those blockages and those fears and those things that we're just trying to avoid for whatever reason, or the things that we've kind of shut down from, it may not come out in the format that you think. So if it's loss, you think, oh, I'm just, I'm afraid to lose someone else, but it creeps in, and the things that we don't deal with will show up in other places. And so, you may not personally be dealing with loss or dealing with the same kind of circumstances as Janae is, but think about the places in your life, financial or otherwise, that you may have an avoidant, energy around, and where it could be showing up and spilling up into other places. Whether it is your money, whether it is your time, whether it is, the work that you're doing, whether it is pursuing a business, or whatever those things that you're supposed to be doing that may be impacted by where you're not paying attention to, is really, really important to take a look at.
Yeah. Now, speaking of Janae's experience, I read an article the other day. It said, what did Aretha Franklin, Prince, and somebody else have in common? And the answer was none of them had wills. Prince didn't have a will, Aretha didn't have a will. There was some other Black celebrity that died without a will. And it's something that we just have to take more seriously. And when we expand D-Free, what we've learned from our research is that that's one of the areas we have to do a better job in helping people consider that we have, especially if we have children, especially if we have assets. But everybody has an asset. If it's nothing but your shoes, you've got an asset. And you'd be surprised how families will fall out over shoes.
Yeah.
And over jewelry and over a necklace. So having a will is absolutely critical. And we want to make sure people prepare for the one thing that we know we're going to do.
Yeah.
And that is leave here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Janae, thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Janae is on fire, boy. She's helping us a lot.
Absolutely. Anybody else have anything to share? Any questions? Yep, we have to deal with our blockages to walk in true freedom. Absolutely.
Now, Beverly Cooper was about a half hour late. She got the longest. Beverly came in and started talking right away. You know, most people come in late, they slide in the back, you know, and they're low key. Beverly just jumped right on in here. But she always has something good to say. That's the problem.
Let me
Always.
see. I'm going to read her testimony.
Look at it. Yeah.
I'm looking at Amy's comment that not having a will explicitly allows the government to decide how your life estate will be carried out and decided upon. Absolutely. And every state is different. They will do different things. You think it might go to your kids and it might end up going to your sister. Every state is absolutely different when it comes to intestacy laws and managing estates. Let's see. Beverly Cooper had a car accident, was totaled, never intended to get another car. Spent 2 days trying to find the same car, compatible vehicle with the amount of insurance it's given me. Is there an advantage to pay cash for a loan if I'm using insurance money to pay cash for the car and tax and title? And the other on a loan, is there anyone I can connect me with to heighten my knowledge?
Is this a car question or is this an
Yeah,
insurance
it's
question?
yeah, I'm trying to figure out if she needs to get a car.
Yeah. Well, but one thing I've learned, because I had a son that totaled the car. I've learned that there's two types of insurance, car insurance. One type is the type that'll give you enough money to compensate you for the value of the car that day. Then there's another type of insurance that'll give you enough money to buy a new version of that car for what it costs today.
Mm-hmm.
And I beg our people to get the second type of insurance and not the first type, because some people, Tamika, have the first type, and when they total their car, they don't even have enough money to pay off the loan.
Yeah. Yep.
So then the debt on the old car is rolled into the debt on the new car, and you get deeper and deeper in debt. I bought a car for my sons. It cost $17,000. It got totaled, and they gave me a check for $23,000. Now, I had a moral crisis
new one. Mm-hmm.
because I was I'm a preacher, so I thought maybe they made a mistake, and I asked the Lord, should I tell them or? And while I was in the throes of my moral crisis, I talked to the insurance company. They said, no, it's not a mistake. You have
That's
the
what
type
you
of
paid for.
insurance that pays you to buy a new version of the old car.
Yeah.
So I bought an old version of the old car and gave the boys the used car and kept the balance.
There it is. Way to get your money back. See? Yeah, it pays to be protected. That whole wealth protection piece of D-Free is very, very real. And understanding your insurance options is, yeah. And that's, I think they used to give, it's expensive, but they used to add gap insurance.
Right.
You buy a new car to fill in the gap. So as the value of the car was going down, you're still paying kind of extra into it for that very reason. But I believe it is cheaper to get that kind of the expanded insurance coverage that you're talking about. And it is a benefit. I feel like, what's the commercial? The State Farm guy, one of them advertises it all the time. Like, just get a new one. And
yeah,
you told it and just get a new car.
Yeah. Listen, did you read Karen Cooperwood?
Yes, I'm looking at it now.
Y'all have never seen me cry, but if I get 3 more of these kinds of testimonies, I'm gonna have to get off camera.
Listen, you see, I've had to be quiet because
Karen Cooperwood said, the unexpected death of a loved one and this class made me get my will finalized.
Yeah.
My Lord.
You have just saved your family headache, heartache, and money just by doing that one document. That one document, you just made it plain what you wanted. Now just put the date that you signed it, put a note in your calendar, and every year just check it on that date to make sure everybody's still living that you wanted to leave something to, that nothing has changed.
Yeah.
Update your insurance, the beneficiaries on your insurance, on your bank accounts. If you need to, enact power of attorneys, make sure that your bank accounts have like a second person listed. Not that they have access to your money now, but if you become incapacitated, they can take advantage of your money. I actually did a whole presentation on this for the Deltas, I think 2 weeks ago, or maybe last weekend. I lose track of my Saturdays. But it's living well and leaving a legacy. Maybe I'll do that on a Monday night here, because it is all about planning for.
I think that would be good because I have some updated stats on the loss of wealth in the Black community when you have to go through probate.
Mm-hmm.
I recently updated those statistics and did a little research on that. So I think we can bring that. That's a good one, Tamika, to I'll look those up too, and maybe we can share kind of that information around a lot of that. It's also good to have dates, I think, like you said, at annual time, or like I do mine twice a year, every January and June. That way I know it's when I go to the dentist, all my 6-month activities, all of the things I need to do every January 1, every June, July 1. And I make sure to check in on all of my stuff. So having those dates too to check in, so you can make sure you update, or if things change. What we did during pandemic, a lot of people did, is the continuum that we have, that's all the different points. People started to print that and use that as their check-in, because it's all of the kind of financial kind of milestones, I guess, if you will, as you're going along the journey. And so if life changes, if you have a job loss, you have an addition to your family, kids, if you anything like that, we're talking about, lost tonight, it's good to go and check in on those spots. And that's a good January, kind of June, double check your insurances, double check your will, once a year, pull your credit report,
Yep.
all kind of your financial twice a year moves.
Yep. Great questions.
There's
How do you go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's a question, Tamika, I want to address. Probably it's the same one you pointed out, but I just lost it. There was a question that you wanted to raise.
Yeah. How did you decide to name the executor for your will if you don't have a partner? Was that it?
That was the one. That was the one I was looking at. Yeah. Well, all of us have people in our lives that we trust. If you don't have a spouse or a sibling or someone very close to you, from a family perspective, it's always safe to name an attorney or an accountant, some professional that's going to be professional. The difference sometimes is in fees, because executors have the right to charge fees. They're not much. Every state has guidelines on how much fees can be charged. But it's always safe to use a professional, like an attorney, like an accountant, people who are accountable to professional standards.
Right.
That's my point. Preachers are professionals, but we're not accountable to professional standards like accountants and attorneys and financial advisors. But it's a good question, because it means that you're thinking about it.
Yep.
And the key is you choose the person that you believe will carry out your wishes as closely as you'd like them to be carried out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We had a couple comments around writing your obituary in advance as well. Tina said she did that for her dad when he had Alzheimer's, and it took the load off the family because it was done by the time he passed. I absolutely agree. I think there's an exercise in the workbook where you it's either in the workbook or in meditations, where you write your obituary, or start to make notes on it. It is a great exercise to do for a variety of reasons. I don't want to go off the financial topic, but a lot of your family and friends don't know all of who you are and what you do. You just show up in places and you volunteering and mentoring people and coaching people. And, by the time you get to the funeral, they're like, well, she had 2 kids and a dog, and that's all you know. And then you have people that are getting up at the funeral trying to tell your story for you. So go ahead and try to capture some of that.
Yeah. Nikki makes a good point. Her aunt talks about beneficiaries. We need wills and beneficiaries.
Yep.
So if you have a thrift savings program because you're with the government 401k, it's any instrument like insurance that asks you to designate a beneficiary, designate the beneficiary.
And update it regularly.
That's right. Update. That updating. Did I tell you, have I ever told you about what happened on 9/11? Unfortunately, a lot of first responders died at the World Trade Center on September 11, 2001. And unfortunately, I don't know what it is about the culture in that world. many of them had second relationships.
And the first, yeah,
Right. And I did a funeral of a firefighter whose wife was not the beneficiary.
yeah,
And one of the challenges that the union had, because they raised tons of money to help the victims' families, one of the challenges they had was, which family do we support? Do we support the family whose
Correct.
name is down as beneficiary, or do we support the family right now that he's with? And millions of dollars went to the wrong family.
yeah. It happens a lot with life insurance. If you don't update your beneficiaries, you see it a lot after divorce. If you don't go back through and update those things, divorce or whatever you're going through, if you don't change that, those are legally binding contracts, and the companies are obligated by law to give the money to whoever is listed as the beneficiary.
Right.
And if that person died, so I've seen situations where the beneficiary was a parent as opposed to a spouse. The parent passes away, but the money still had to go through intestacy at that point because the person had been died. Their will had already been carried out, and so it had to go back through the court again because they got a new set of money after death, and
Yeah.
they didn't have a different beneficiary named, and so it could get really messy if you don't clean it up on your own.
And
Yeah.
anything that has to go to court costs you a lot of money.
Right.
You will pay and lose a lot of money if it has to go through court. So that's
Somebody said it happens with pension plans too. That's true.
Yeah.
So let me take my 10 minutes now because there may be some questions. You
Yep.
know, folks, again, I want to thank all of you for hanging with us on Monday nights. You should know that D3 is attempting to position itself to be here for a long time. I've hired young staff so that their work can outlive me personally. I don't take a salary from the D3 Foundation. I don't make any money off of D3. I have, God has blessed me with resources and means and real estate and other assets. And so this is my commitment to God. But I feel absolutely obligated to supporting the work that Tamika leads, that Janiyah does, and the team does. I want to be very, very transparent. We are in a position, we meaning our nonprofit foundation, we're in a position to really tap into some significant resources, but time is not on our side. And so what I'm announcing first tonight, I'm going to announce it on Wednesday. In fact, I'll be announcing this because I've got about 2 weeks. I've got to recruit 200 people who will be D3 ambassadors. Now I'll give you t-shirts, I'll give you hats, I'll give you mugs that say I'm a D3 ambassador. But what we're going to need you to do, we're going to need you to help us contact people. We have 30,000 people on our mailing list. We don't have enough staff to do that by ourselves. And if you believe that more people should be exposed to D3, if you believe that Black America should use this as a resource, I need 200 people who will raise their hand and say, I will be a D3 ambassador, which basically means this. I need you to call some folks on the phone. I need you to identify whether or not they're going to lead a group, start a group, or sign up for the academy, because I've got to have 4,000 people signed up for the academy by July 17th. So many of you know, and if you don't, I've got a video coming out describing it. June 19th is called Juneteenth. And Juneteenth celebrates the absolute end of slavery as announced in Texas. We're going to have July 10th. And July 10th is going to be July 17th, when we all come together and celebrate financial freedom. But I need your help. And so if you would just put in the chat, but Tina did. Tina said, I will be a D3 ambassador. Now, mind you, I'm only asking you to do it for 90 days. This is not a lifelong, this is not like Sunday school where you teach until you're 93 years old. I need 200 ambassadors who will help us for the next 90 days. Now, if you want to sign up for more, God bless you. But right now, I'm only asking for a 90-day commitment from 200 people who will help us contact those that have, some people signed up for the academy and never followed up. Some people never heard of the academy. There's some churches that are just starting, and we need people like yourselves to help them get going. So if you're willing to be a D-Free ambassador for the next night to the end of July, I will love you. I'll give, like I said, I'll give you a free T-shirt that says I'm a D-Free ambassador. We're going to have a conference call in the next few days for the people that say yes. And you are the first people I'm sharing this with, because if we can do this, we will be able to sustain D-Free for a long time, because we'll be able to tap into resources that won't be there if we can't prove that Black America really, really needs and wants D-Free. So if you'll help, Marquita, thank you. Rebecca, thank you. Amy, thank you. Beverly, thank you. Just 90 days. Roetta, thank you. Nikki, thank you. For 90 days. This will be great. I see all of the, I will be, and we'll capture this. We'll get in touch with you. I'm going to call for a conference call in the next few days. We're meeting with the staff tomorrow. I haven't even told the staff. The staff is scratching their head right now, other than Tamika and Janai. They're like, what? What's he talking about? I didn't know anything about 90 days, but we've got to do this. And I'm sure that out of the 30,000 people we communicate regularly, there are 4,000 that will come on board and join the movement. If we can prove that this movement is viable and that it's not just me, Tamika, and Beverly Cooper, then we can access some resources that will really impact Black America. So Amy, thank you so much. Tira, thank you so much. This is what I'm so encouraged.
I am too. I'm writing down names. So I'll send an email to our team so we know who. I think I got them.
Right.
But you can also email us, Carolyn Harris. You, I will also say this: the Monday night crowd has really been the driving force behind the work that Dr. Stories is describing. We, without going into a ton of detail, we got specific funding. So this is, I'll go back to this. D-Free is free, and you all know it because you've done it, you've lived it, you've experienced it. You get a free workbook, et cetera, et cetera. It is very difficult for people to believe that the work we do is actually free. So with that, but we fundraise on our side to make sure that we can provide what we provide and really help people. We're not trying to get rich off of your financial pain. And in fact, if you're in financial challenge, it's hard for us to even put a real price tag on helping you. And so with that, we got an opportunity to rebuild our online academy, which you all have just participated in. And so we're really, really looking to make sure that that becomes a destination that we can offer to more people and that we can support through it. And so your contributions are very, very, very helpful. Like I said, it's not easy to do this work to make it free for you all. And so your support is definitely welcomed. I think we might have got 50 people already.
That's great, because we've got about 10 weeks to really do what we need to do. And we can't do it with the handful of people that come to work every day working for D-Free. We can only do it if we get people like Nikki and people like Tina and others to really help us. And again, one of the pitfalls of the Black church is that if once you sign up for something, you can't get out of it. It's almost like treason. And so this is just 90 days between now and the end of July. And if your life is okay and your time is still good, we'll sign you back up for another few weeks. But right now, this is a critical time. What happens with our team in the next 90 days is going to determine how effective and how resourced we are for the next 3 years. So we got 3 months to build the foundation for 3 years. And I would be silly to pray to God about it and not talk to you about it. I believe in God and people. And so thank you. I see a lot of responses and it's just wonderful.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was gonna say, we'll pull the chat. And so if you did comment in the chat, then we'll make sure we get everybody connected and we'll walk you all the way through. So what Dr. Stories is describing, the team will take you all the way through. So we'll give you tools, we'll give you resources. We're gonna do some fun things around it. Maybe some prizes. We'll just have fun with it, but we'll give you all the tools and resources and everything that you need to help us really span our reach.
Absolutely.
Right. Thank you.
And-
And thanks for my 10 minutes because
No, this was perfect. I think we've been talking about, sharing the academy, and I'm probably more humble than Dr. Soares is. In fact, he's more inspiring than I am, which is why he can galvanize people and get y'all to sign up right away. And so, Lola, we got you down. Thank you. And so we're really excited to have you on board to move forward with this. Olu, yes, I got your question. So I have two questions for Olu. I hope I'm not putting you on the spot. Olu Adeleke, I hope I'm pronouncing that properly, is still going through the D-Free course. So I have two questions. One, what prompted you to continue? Because I know we just finished graduation a couple weeks ago. What prompted you to continue and to join Monday night? If you don't mind answering, you can type it in or you can say it out loud. And I'm only asking because we have about 700 people like yourself who are registered for the course, have done a little bit, and they're slowly kind of moving through, trickling. And so I just wanted to see if there was any insight you had for us on just the process. And I'm glad that you're continuing. So thank you so much for still showing up, even though graduation happened. We are planning another. That's the other thing. So as a part of this ambassador program and getting additional people in, even before the ambassador piece, we've decided to do probably a quarterly graduation. So the next graduation will be during what Dr. Soares just titled July 10th. I'm giving that to the conference team tonight. So yes. So that'll be a celebration of financial freedom. Hi, Olu. How are you?
Hi, Tamika. You're not putting me on the spot. But what had me continue is because I've been blessed to now have a constant flow of income after my military transition that I wanted to do and leave a legacy, going back to what Pastor Soares said, to leave a legacy for my daughter, who's going to be a senior after this week, about to graduate, to go to law school, and to just leave a legacy for my family. We're in a great neighborhood, got a great salary for relative to where we live in Virginia. So, I just want to be a blessing and just to improve in the quality of life, because I've seen too many people in the pandemic that were way older than me that are struggling with the once a month check, no other investment, no other source of income. And that's why I asked the question about the mutual funds, because I plan on starting that with my employer, with the 401k, the question I asked about that, because I'm still learning about that and I'm still reading the book. I got derailed a little bit because I'm a software engineer and there's a certain project I was trying to get through. At the same time, get in shape, so I had to research a lot for that. So that kind of got me derailed away from reading the book, which I'm going back to starting tomorrow. We're at the production side, so it's all good now.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining and sharing. I want to make sure you're actually registered in the academy so we can get credit for your progress. Congratulations to you and your family. We're excited to have you. And yes, I got your note about the ambassadors. As far as your mutual fund, like Dr. Soares said, we're not financial advisors, but I would recommend that you meet with one.
I'm sorry. My question was, is it a sound good 401k plan that only invested in mutual funds? Because my employer one doesn't match, and I looked at it fund that the 401k plan is going into, and it's a mutual fund kind of deal. So I'm not sure, because I've seen other 401k plans that I've participated in before that have other stocks or whatever, it's more diversified than that. So I was trying to find out if that's a good plan or not.
Yeah, an advisor will be able to, go ahead, Dr. Soares, you're on mute. We can't hear you.
Most 401ks invest in mutual funds. I've never seen one that doesn't, but it's up to you to decide what type of mutual fund. They usually want to know, do you want aggressive? Do you want moderate? Do you want conservative? Do you want socially, whatever the word is, responsible? So whatever your 401k is in, there are different types of mutual funds. That's my point. Some are growth funds, some are long-term funds. So what you want to do is talk to your human resources department that can connect you with the people managing the 401k.
Yeah.
Okay, and can I have a quick thanks to the pastor? I don't know if he saw my chat or not. I want to thank him about that student loan seminar we did, that he did the last time, because he opened my eyes. I plan on going back to school to get my graduate degree, and I'm taking advantage of this layover to September to start to pay down any loan that I had from the undergrad. Meanwhile, I think I'm learning, and I got some tidbits. I even got hold of Prudential Vault team, Pastor. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Olawale.
Excellent. 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 Thank you so much for sharing. Really appreciate that. Really appreciate it. And we got some, again, really great comments in the chat. Edna said she had to put D-Free aside because of just things were happening, and now she's back on it. If you're in it, stay the course. We will celebrate you whenever you finish.
Yep.
I just wanted to get that piece of insight to see if people were actually, we see y'all trickling through, but I just want to make sure that if there's anything we can do along the journey, please feel free. Nikki, we might need to hire your aunt. Is she a financial professional? She got a lot of good tips for our people. Y'all say thank you to Nikki's aunt before y'all leave this evening. Any other questions or comments? We have about 4 minutes left. I want to encourage you to make sure that you join us on Wednesday if you're available for our webinar, and always on Monday nights. This is a community that you guys have created, and we're excited to be here and support you. We'll reshare the list of topics with Dr. Soaries so that we can start to plan future webinars, but also we'll make sure that we get on the calendar that one conversation about living well and leaving a legacy. I'll give it a couple weeks since we just kind of touched on it. Or if we do it right after, we'll figure out the best time. But any last questions or comments before we log off?
I was gonna say, if you put your email in, you're gonna get an email from us. We'll have next steps and ambassador information and such coming soon, shortly.
Excellent.
Nice, Sharon. Thank you.
Joyce, duly noted. I'm just going to drop my email address in the chat. I want you to send it to me if you can.
I'm excited about all the ambassadors. This is about to be great.
It's very exciting. Very
Yes.
exciting.
Yes.
Who's capturing all of these yeses?
We have.
We'll download the chat. Yeah, we got it.
Okay.
Angela's gonna pull it. I already seen them. They are already on it. I seen a note already in the back end.
Oh, I didn't know Angela was on.
Yeah, it's super late, but she's still on.
Tomorrow we'll talk strategy in our staff meeting,
Mhm.
but I'm focused on this like a laser. Because you all have been working so hard to build the resources, build the academy, build the $1 billion challenge. You've been working hard on building the structure. And now we've got to prove that Black people will participate in what you built.
Mhm. Yep.
That's what I'm here for.
Absolutely. Well, we thank you. This is an extension of your legacy, and we take it seriously. And we're thankful that you thought it not robbery to go ahead and follow your leading and get D-Free started. It's still changing lives. The little book and the ministry that could is still here.
The ministry that could. I like that.
All right. Excellent. Well, we
Right.
have 2 minutes left. We got some good comments in the chat. We'll leave everything open for the last 2 minutes, but I really want to thank you all. Reminders, you can share Monday Night Live with your friends and family. It is open to the public. It's not just our Academy community, but we invite you to join the Academy. If you're not taking the course right now, you can visit mydfree.org, and you can also sign up for $1 Billion Challenge at billiondollarpaydown.com. Team, thank you. You guys are awesome. Monday nights continue to reign. Aaron is upset, but I like it here. So we're good. We're good. Thank you guys. Kyle, Luciana, and Ange on the back end with the slides. Janaya, Dr. Soaries. Another
Thank
great
you,
Monday
everybody.
night.
Great. I'll see everybody. I'll see the team tomorrow.
All right.
Excellent.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.